Good morning. This is Deborah Clutter. I know I've been MIA for a while. It has been so cold over here in South Dakota. In the month of January, it was pretty cold. And it was too cold to sew in my basement. So I was working on my 3D printer and doing some stuff with that. And that occupied most of my time. So I didn't get a lot of sewing done. And I had my Bernina in the shop because the thread cutter was jamming. And when it came back, it was still doing that. My husband took it apart and put it back together, and it's working, and we didn't even do anything. So I don't know. Hopefully it continues to work because I don't want to have to send it back in. So I thought I would just give you a little update video. We'll probably be traveling here pretty soon, so I don't know how many videos I'll be able to do while we're traveling. My dog came to visit me. So I got my coffee, and this is actually my third cup. I think I didn't drink all the other one, maybe half a cup, and then it got cold even in my Yeti. So I hope you guys are all having your coffee. Okay, so I'm going to show you a couple of things I did manage to get done. So I went to a quilt retreat for my guild last weekend, and I did manage to get some borders on my YouTube swap quilt, and I finished that, and so I just need to quilt that. And then I also made another quilt, and I'll show you a picture up here, a little video of the quilt I made. And I had some more of that fabric, but in pink, that I used for that quilt, and I might make another one for a charity quilt. I've had this for 10 years, long time. I have this box. I took all these fabrics out of my closet and stuffed them in a box, and I was going to give them away, and then I decided I'd just make some charity quilts with them, or do other things that, you know, that I could do with them, make some scrap quilts or whatever. So even though I didn't get a lot of quilting done, and it's still cold down here today, it's raining. It's been warm, but it's raining today. So I did finish this little project, which I'd been wanting to do. So if you've seen any of my other videos, you know I have a lot of these in the hoop blocks that I make. And so this one is my own pattern, and I should do a video on it because it's a really neat kind of design. You could do this and just, you know, make the block, and then, you know, put it with a bunch of other blocks and quilt it. You don't have to quilt it in the hoop, but this one was done quilted in the hoop, and the backing was applied in the hoop also. And same with this one. This is a little log cabin that was pieced in the hoop. So I had these blocks, and I had this idea of making this little planner. And so I just put the blocks together and added some fabric and batting, and extended it on both sides. And then I just made some pockets. It has a pocket here, and then it has the mesh pocket, and then it has two clear pockets. And I didn't do a great job on this zipper. I got confused which way I was supposed to go because I wanted them to open this way, but they don't open the way I wanted them to. But they're okay. Well, I mean, I guess I wanted them to open this way, and they close that way. So anyway, they're just two little pockets I can put stuff in, and then it has an opening here, and you can see here's the quilted block, here's the other side of it. So I think it turned out really cute, pretty simple to make. It's just, it took a little bit of time. I just kind of threw it together on the fly. I didn't really make much of a plan for it. I think if I would have sat down and planned it a little bit better, it might have came out a little bit better. But hey, usually when I don't plan things, they don't usually come out the way I want them. But this one turned out okay. I think it's pretty cute. What do you guys think? I think it might be a good video to show how to make one of these. So that's the one thing I did get done. That's at least kind of quilting related, besides the two quilts, the YouTube swap quilt and the charity quilt that I made. I did work on my Jeannie Niemeyer quilt a little bit at the retreat, but I got so tired of doing the same thing over and over. So let me show you my 3D stuff that I've been making. Tomorrow is my birthday, and my husband was nice enough to buy me a new 3D printer because I've been griping and complaining about our old one being, I mean, it's like 8 years old, and it is so slow. If you make a box, for instance, if I was to make this box that I made, it would take 8 hours. And I made this box on my new printer in 3 hours. So this is a box for all my bobbins for my baby lock. And this is not all the bobbins I have. I don't know, I have an obsession of getting everything just like way over the top. I think it has to do with when I was poor and I didn't have anything. So I think I'm going to run out. I have no idea. So I printed the bobbin clips for this, and I printed the box. So I actually drew the box up in my Fusion 360 program, and then I made the lid, and it says Baby Lock Bobbins on it. So I didn't add the letters in black on this one, which I could have. I was just learning to use my new printer, which is a multicolor printer, and I don't know why I didn't do it, but there's my box. So this one's nice for traveling, and you know, the bobbins won't spill out or get lost. So the next one I made was a little hot pink bobbin box. I thought, well, this was more appropriate to take to the quilt retreat, right? Because I don't need 30 bobbins to take with me. And this one holds 6. So, and I thought it was pretty cute. I even printed the bobbin clips in bright pink, and this little bobbin thing was adorable, I think. And I even kind of like the hot pink. And see, I put the bobbin and black lettering. I did have a little bit of a problem with it lifting off the bed, and so it's not quite flat on the bottom. But I figured it all out, how to get that thing to stick down. Like I said, I've been nonstop printing for like 3 or 4 weeks now. So another thing I was thinking, you know, we all have all of these razor cutter blades, right? And I thought, well, wouldn't it be nice to make a thread cutter that uses one of those rotary blades, like your old rotary blade? So I set about, now mind you, I hadn't used Fusion in a while, so I kind of asked my husband to see if he could figure it out how to make it. And then I knew he wasn't really into the project, so I sat down and got familiar with Fusion again and made some stuff, and then I could make it a lot quicker. So after my first couple of tries of trying to make it with the used rotary blades, I kind of gave up on that idea, and then I just went back to using a regular, you know, shaving blade, or one that you use in one of those razor knives. So this is the thread holder that I made, and or the thread cutter, and that's what it looks like. And it has a flower on both sides, and I think it turned out really good, and it works really well, and I like it. So I mean, you can buy these. I think I bought one $15. It took, I don't know, cost me $1 to make this. I don't know, it's so cheap. Okay, so then I thought, I need some more magnetic pin holders. So I made a magnetic pin holder to match. It has the same flower in the middle, and I like this one because it has a donut magnet in it, so it's not really magnetized in the middle, so all the pins don't just, you know, lay in the middle and then they're poking out the other end and poking on you. So I think it turned out really well. All the pins are out where they're supposed to be, and it holds really well. I did print the bottom of this separate and glued it on. Another one I made for my sister, I just put felt on the bottom. I tried to print the magnet in place, but I was having a little problem with that. I may improve on the design, but for right now, I think it works really good. So then I wanted some organizer boxes for my drawers, and so I printed these, and they just have dividers and they stack. So it wasn't that I wanted to print them this small, but I was just testing to make sure they all fit. So when I did print them, it would work. So now I got all these little tiny boxes I printed to test it out. And then I thought, I'm going to try to make a box with a hinge because I've never done that before. So I made this box, and it has lettering on it for my little ratchet screwdriver. And it has a hinge, and I think for my first time making a hinge, I did pretty good. I did get the letters upside down. They should have been this way, but hey, nobody's perfect. And then I made a holder out of the same stackable boxes that I was testing, and this one's stackable also. And this is for your, and these are all my needles for my sewing machine. I need to make a couple of improvements on it. Like I think I want to make these a little bit looser. They're tight, and you can't even use the ones on the edge because it's too tight. And it's not sticking down far enough so that you could actually stack another box on top. So I don't know how I got that measurement wrong, but I did. So, and then the other thing I was working on is I had some ladies from my guild come over that all have long arms, and I made them a whole bunch of long arm clamps. So my husband and I have been working on these for a couple of weeks, and these are just retractable clamps made from a Harbor Freight tape measure. So I put the little medallion and put it on there, and then my husband put the clamps or the retractable stuff in it. This one's mine and it's orange, but the other ones had black webbing. So I did a lot of those, and also I cut out a couple of quilts. So I have this one that I'm going to make a video on, and this one is the one that's still laying on my messy cutting table right now. My room's a mess down here. I haven't even wanted to come down because it's just cold and and I've been having too much fun, I think, with my 3D printer. So I started cutting this out and I started filming it, and then I realized I wasn't filming it correctly. I was just not in the right mood to film, I guess. So anyway, here's the quilt. It'll be super easy. It's 62 by 82, and it has a little bit of paper piecing, but the rest of it is done with a jelly roll, and I will have a video on that. I planned on cutting it all out and filming that part and then sewing it while we're out, but I gotta go back and redo the video for the cutting part. I don't know what was going on with me that day. And then I did another one, and this is the other one that I'm working on. I got this one all cut out, and I got the instructions for cutting it out filmed, but you can do it in different colors. This is super easy. I already made one of these. The first one I messed up some of the snowballing the corners, and it turned out a little bit different than I wanted it to, but I think it'll turn out nice. This is the background color I got for it, and then the rest of them are all grays. So I have never put that combination together before. Well, let's see how it's gonna turn out. I don't know. Not my usual. Usually I pick a nice light background. So the other thing I 3D printed was my bobbin clips. So I gave a bunch of bobbin binder, or not clips, binding holders away to my guild. And these are my original ones, and they're just like this. They're kind of a little small one, and they hold your binding like this. So, you know, I usually make my binding as I'm cutting out everything else, and then I have it ready so that when I finish the quilt, I'll actually put the binding on. So I actually have a lot of them, and then I always save my scrap binding, and I'll use it for either testing out a new binding method or making a scrap binding, all kinds of stuff. So I had made a whole bunch of these for the guild, and I gave them away. And then I thought, well, I could make some for the upcoming quilt show, and we could either sell them or give them away at the door. I don't know, I'll have to talk to the ladies. And then I thought I could make these little clips, so I made these little clips to hold the binding, because I was using just binder clips before, and I think these turned out really nice. So I printed a bunch of these on my old printer with the glitter filament that I had, because it would only print on my old printer. So I made a bunch of those. And so then I was thinking, well, I'm still trying to figure out how to package them and display them in the package. I need to make an insert that goes in here, so I'll have to get into Adobe Illustrator or Photoshop and make some packaging insert. But I just put like a little tiny bit of binding on it and put the clip on it. And as I was doing that, I was thinking it would be nice if the clip would stick onto the binding when you're not using it, because that little clip can get lost, right? So I made these. Look at this. This is so cute. Look at this. So this one is bigger than the small binding holder. So you can hold a lot more binding on this, but it's got a secret. So the clip comes off. That's the clip. And let's say you finish all your binding and you're done, and now you're like, oh man, I don't want to lose my little clip. Well, I got the perfect solution. It clips on to this binding holder, and I had to do a lot of printing to get this to clip. It's got a little tiny heart in the middle that this little open heart clips on, and so that I think this is probably my best invention. I love it. It's so cute. And so now I always have a clip, you know, to go with my binding holder, and I don't have to go searching around for the clip or have a separate, you know, container just to hold the binding clips. They're all together. And so, as you can see, it's quite a bit, well, not quite a bit larger, but it is larger than the small one. So that's the small one, but I still made it where it wouldn't fit in this package, because I had a bunch of these 4x6 plastic bags, and I don't have any idea where I got them from. But anyway, so that was what I've been working on, and I just got it where it worked this morning. So I was pretty dang excited about that. I know, the little things in life that make you so excited, right? But I mean, it snaps on there. It's so awesome. And that printer, that new printer, oh my God, it prints so nice. I mean, look at this. It looks all professional and beautiful. So then I also made some new seam ripper holder things. So I made this one kind of faceted, and I learned how to do that, and I thought that was pretty fun. So I have a bunch of kits. I can make some new seam rippers. I had to order it. They went up $2 though for the kits for these, and so then when I ordered those, I ordered the kits for the little seam rollers. So I've been making some handles for those. And so this is one of my prototypes. You have to print a lot of stuff until you get, well, at least for me, my design process is make a lot of mistakes, do a lot of stupid stuff, and then finally get it right. So I end up printing a lot of stuff before I get one that actually works. I mean, sometimes I'll print something in it and it works the first time, like my box. My box worked the first time and I was like, what? So anyway, so this is what it'll be glued in here. So if this is the handle I choose to put on here, but I had planned on making the seam ripper and the handle to match, and then maybe a thread cutter and the pin holder all matching, where they all match the same color, and maybe even a little bobbin case. But so these are for like class 15 bobbins. I can make them for Bernina bobbins. I can make them for any size bobbins really, but yeah, so maybe something like that. I plan on making like a little package for the quilt show, for the raffle for the guild. And so I need to get back on this. I went through all my designs and modified them and tested a few, but it was taking so long on my old printer. That's when I was complaining to my husband about it, and that's when he bought me a new printer. So I was like, this is taking forever, you know, 3 hours to test one of these, and I can print it in like 30 minutes on the new printer. So I'm pretty excited about that. So we talked about all the binding clips. I have a ton of binding clips now that I've printed all of these. So I tried different little clips for the binding. This was my first one. And then I realized that when I put it on, the heart would be upside down. I mean, because it is actually a paper clip too, right? So yeah, I put the heart on the wrong way. So then I made a new one that's like this, but I didn't really like it for the binding too much. I printed some for paper. And then I started working on this quilt that I drew a pattern for probably last year. And I drew the pattern and I was going to paper piece the whole thing. This is what the quilt looks like. And then I kept on thinking, I don't know if I really want to do it that way. I mean, I even went as far as having all the papers printed at Office Depot. Oh, here's another one of my little clips in red. Anyway, and then I decided I really didn't want to paper piece it. So I got it down to where I'm just going to be paper piecing a few of the things, and which is going to be just the star, these flying geese, and the star, and that's it. Oh, and the corners right here are paper pieced, and that's it. And then the rest of the quilt will just be cut and sewn, which turned out really good. I'll show you a little picture of the test blocks that I did, and I think they turned out really good. And then the last thing I want to talk about, I bought this really cute fabric from the local quilt store in Hill City. Now look at this, you guys, these little campers. Isn't that cute? There's only 2 yards here, so I'm not quite sure what I can do with the 2 yards, but I'll think of something. So anyway, it was nice talking to you guys, and I hope you like this video, and give me a comment. Let me know you're still alive out there. All right, thanks. Bye. Also forgot to show you guys my other boxes that I made. So these boxes took me 3 hours to print, I think, a piece, and I had to make 2, 4, 6, 8 of them. And they are for my pre-wound bobbins for my long arm. And my old boxes I had looked something like that, but the bobbins, they were sitting on top of the bobbins themselves, and they were crushing my little cardboard sides on my bobbins. So I made these, and I think they turned out really good. And yeah, I got way too many. I have no, like I said, accumulator of stuff I probably don't need.